Welcome to WellKit, the podcast where we discuss workplace well-being in all its form and we explore what it really takes to create healthier workspaces. In each episode, we talk with experts in organizational development, in positive psychology, psychotherapy, neuroscience, research, academia, business, and we combine science with practice. And everything we talk about is aimed at helping people and organizations grow sustainably, meaningfully, and well. WellKit is enabled by FitKit, the application that brings corporate well-being with flexible and personalized solutions for fitness, for relaxation, and mental health care. I am your host. My name is Anna Kostovska. I am a licensed psychologist with a background in organizational and personal development as well as leadership. And my passion is creating environments where people and organizations grow and realize their potential. Today, in this episode, we will be talking about the power of emotional intelligence in the workplace, and it is my pleasure to welcome Biljana Velevska.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are founder of Impulsi, certified management consultant, co-founder of Macedonian Association for Career Advisors, expert in organizational development and emotional intelligence, and that's a lot. And you've been doing this for more than 20 years. 25.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's going on in these 25 years?
Thank you, Anna. A lot is going on. By the way, it's the professional development. Thank you for the introduction. I always loved to help people and organization grow. I believed, really always, that people can be happy all the time and we can live together in a really nice community. And I always say there is a space for every single person in this planet. We shall work together and be together, not fight each other.
That's kind of not really mainstream thinking about business, right? Previously it was this is business, you leave your emotions aside and this is a fight. Whoever is stronger, they win.
And by the way, really it is the case. I've seen it among consultants in Macedonia as well. But my belief is different, and you can see that after 25 years, I can also prove that partnership is possible. Partnerships are possible in our business, in every business, so that it's just important to feel well, to feel good, to feel that you make changes.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful to hear, especially in the business sector. So we're talking about emotional intelligence. Can you tell us a little bit more about what actually is AI and how does it show up in the workplace?
There are a few definitions of emotional intelligence. Most of them are similar. It is about knowing how you feel and what to do with the emotions. I really like, in the business context, the Genus International definition, which is it is it is a set of skills, meaning that we can work on building these skills. It is a set of skills that help us respond to our emotions and properly react to our emotions and to emotions of others. So in a work context, it is building the skills so that we all feel better at workplace in order to give better results. If I feel well, I'm productive. If I don't feel well, I'm less productive. Like this morning, for example, coming here, I felt so much stress being a little bit late because some other activities occurred. And then cars parked everywhere, like very strange. And then the parking place was simply closed, saying press the button when the green light comes. I see cars are coming out and the green light doesn't come. So I said, okay, I will press this. So it is like coming in a stressful situation at the workplace, then you need a little bit time to figure out what is going on and then to calm down, understand your feelings first, and then to calm down, not to get these feelings to the others and then really make disaster at the workplace.
But it's not uncommon for us to feel like that when we get to work, right? Especially in the
traffic,
in the environments we live, the traffic, the stress, the constant hurrying, the noise.
Yeah, completely. And by the way, the first step in emotional intelligence is self-awareness, just to be aware what is going on and how do I feel in this stressful environment and stressful situations. What exactly causes me stress? How do I feel? What is happening? By the way, I can lose concentration. I can, it is like my active listening is dropping down skills, everything. So it is just, first of all, to be self-aware. Then when we are self-aware, to open up also to figure out what is going on with the others. And then I'm starting thinking, okay, this person cut my line because it's in hurry, probably something terrible happens. Just figuring out what is going on with the other person. Then being aware of really how the others feel and how the others behave because of the feelings. Because it is like we don't control part of the things that are happening in us. It is our emotional brain protecting us, telling us what to do. So it is first self-awareness, then awareness of others. And there are also other things with the emotional intelligence. If we talk about workplace, we hear lately about authenticity. We prefer having authentic colleagues, specifically authentic leaders. It is about trust. How do we build trust? If I don't have congruent behavior, who will trust me? So congruence in behavior, and this is if I know what is going on, if I know what the others are expecting, then really giving trust specifically in leadership is something that is essential as a skill set.
That's something that's pretty new, isn't it? Before, where the workforce was readily available, it wasn't so important for the leaders to be authentic, for them to have trust. They just said, do as I say, and things worked. But how did they work?
A great point. It is about leadership. I always say, who follows a leader that is not trustworthy? I would never go with a leader that is not trustworthy. It is how our brain works. But as you mentioned, I will stay in previous times, like 10 years ago, I would stay at workplace because I don't have another choice. Like there are people waiting for my job as well outside. So it is like the pressure on me, do what they say or do what he or she says. No choice.
So it was the choices were driven out of fear rather than authentic wanting to do.
True. Authentic behavior. Well, I've seen also companies 25 years ago that had authentic leaders, specifically when having, I call them projects or interventions within the company with people, with productivity, that not only were willing, but asked to be part of the project. Usually, the top management says, do something with the people. Bring them back healthy. I will bring them back healthy, but you have to continue keeping the health at workplace.
And how does that work?
So, exactly. First, the leaders need to figure out what is emotional intelligence, what is needed from the employees in the field of emotional intelligence. It is exactly understanding. understanding my emotion, understanding emotions of the others, and then doing something about it, managing it. I don't know, you mentioned authenticity. Resilience is also something pretty new and very popular these days. Resilience is practically when you show up as managing good your emotions. When you manage good your emotions, you show up as resilient. If not, like, sometimes people shout, sometimes they withdraw, sometimes they're I don't know what.
And sometimes they just give up.
They give up. So how do I know what is going on? If I'm on the other side and a person is just changing behavior and status, people have no idea what to do. So self-management is one of the competencies that is also possible to train. And then you build up on the emotional intelligence skills as a leader. By the way, being resilient is also important for every worker, every employee. It is not only the leader to be resilient. We also need to do something with our managing ourselves. And here people usually say, well, at work, I must behave. It is like, what does it exactly mean? You must behave. What is it you must behave? I'm not allowed to shout. I'm not allowed to express my feelings. Well, shouting, of course, is not healthy. But expressing the feelings, you need to express your feelings. No one will know what is going on.
Yeah, that's something that is really interesting, what you just said, where when we connect expressing feelings with negative outbursts. So I'm either very calm and I don't show anything, until the point I can't take it anymore, and then I shout. And how is that connected to the emotional intelligence?
Yeah, this is it. When we cannot change something, then we shout. It's like the stress is so high. And by the way, people can be very calm at the workplace, thinking that they are very calm at the workplace, and then go out of the workplace and then shout to any single person they meet on the street or at home. Even worse, because we love the people at home as well.
And they get the worst part of us.
They get it like the doses, daily doses. They get it like it's not really nice. So it's better to work with the emotions, to understand them, and then talk about it. Talking about the skill set, first we need to know what skill set we need to develop to be more emotionally intelligent at workplace. And even at home, it doesn't separate. You have the same skills at home as you have them at workplace.
So how do we develop them? Years ago, it was thought that you can teach a young person something and then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Now we know that we learn all the time. And we know that emotional intelligence can be learned, but most of the people don't know how, or they think it's too difficult and don't even start. What's your experience in this?
It's true that as we get older, it's more difficult to get new things because we are resilient to change. I mean, we give resistant to change, and then it's like, how am I going to get new skills and what am I going to do with it?
And we usually say to ourselves, or most people, I'm too old for this.
Too old. My grandma was 98 when she went to Turkey in Istanbul to see Istanbul.
Wow.
And get that experience. So we are never too old for getting new experiences and learn new things. And by the way, she wanted to refresh her Turkish language because she learned it as she was a child.
Oh, that's a great example.
So, you see, we can always learn. And by the way, it is knowing what exactly as a skill set I need to have as a behavior to show this emotional intelligence at workplace. So with Janos, I'm mentioning this methodology because it's developed at the university in Australia. It is for each competency, 7 behaviors that define the competency. For example, self-awareness is defined by 7 behaviors. When it is a behavior, I can change it.
It's
I
easier
can
to understand. Can you give us some examples? Just a few.
I can tell you exactly. Just a second. Just not to...
So this is very practical for people. So it's not something that usually people don't know where to start.
Exactly.
Or people think that they need to visit a psychotherapist in order to be more emotionally intelligent. And they think it's a very long process and that it takes... So can you give us some practical...
You're completely right. Now I will
example?
read one of the behaviors, for example, what comes first. Well, this is kind of difficult, being consistent in what I say and do. Mm-hmm. This is self-aware.
Oh, that's something that is usually a very big challenge for parents. Yeah? Be consistent. When you say this is not okay, it's not okay all the time.
And don't do it, by the way.
Yes.
If I say water is healthy, I shall drink water at home. Not water is healthy, drink water and I'm drinking whatever. Mm-hmm. Just not to mention other... alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks
Yes.
with sugar or without sugar.
Yes.
And I say sugar is not healthy, and then I'm going around and taking 100 grams of chocolate.
That's not consistency.
That is, exactly. So first practicing consistency, what you say and do. Or, for example, awareness of others makes others feel appreciated. How do you do it? You can say that you appreciate their job, you appreciate what they do, you appreciate what they say, and you can also give constant feedback on what you don't appreciate.
This is a very good advice for people at work, especially for managers. Well, I know from research that people in the employee satisfaction surveys that they say in most of the cases that they do have a problem with not given feedback when they do something good. It's usually when they did something bad.
Exactly. And this is what I'm facing, I don't know, years long. First of all, feedback giving is also a skill. Mm-hmm. We should learn how to give feedback, and we should not postpone it till the next time and the next time and forever and ever.
Until something bad happens. And then
until it's here and then I'm yelling and whatever. Mm-hmm. So first giving constant feedback on time, and then giving the feedback so that the person understands whether it is positive or corrective. Positive feedback is also you're the best. About what?
Yeah, it's
what behavior is the
vague.
best?
Good job, cool.
Good job. What is the good job? Exactly. But then training how to give feedback is really a skill. We are doing with the team. We are doing trainings on feedback. Even after the training, they're hesitating how to start and where to start. Both managers and employees, because employees also can give feedback to each other. Mm. But for the management is must competence to give feedback. And this is it. Give feedback step by step. You don't wait till the project is finished to say, we have done a good job. I know.
Or all the things that went bad.
What was bad? At the end, tell me while we are developing so that I can change and then we can have successful project. I'm mentioning project. It doesn't need to be a project. It can be activity.
Any type of activity.
It can be a key performance indicator I need to achieve. And then if a manager gives me constant feedback on what I'm doing good, so to achieve the indicator, success indicator, or what I shall improve to achieve my indicator, it's good for me. It's not only good for the company. First to me and then for the company. Yeah. Perfect.
We get to grow, company gets to get better.
That is the performance.
So why is it so hard?
Because we don't know how to...
It's an issue for years and it's still an issue. Why is it so hard for managers, especially to provide regular feedback to the employees?
This is a perfect question from my experience. It is like, how do I say? And this is, am I aware of how do I feel? Again, linked to emotional intelligence. If I'm aware how do I feel and I don't feel well, maybe I should start the sentence, I don't feel well about this. really, I don't feel well about this, and now I would like to give you a feedback of what I expect from you to do.
Have you heard a manager actually say, I'm not comfortable with this, but I'm going to do it anyway?
It's very difficult, but I've seen changes. And it works, and I'm very happy when a manager comes and says, I've tried, it works, it's good. Super. But first it is like, people think that the manager shall feel good all the time.
And know the things all the time and be...
It's impossible. A manager is a person, as we all are. I mean, come on. We all have good days and bad days. We all have good news and bad news. We are people. All of us are with the same construction of emotional and rational brain. So the emotional brain is protection. But first, figure out, how do you feel? Okay, this is it. Now I'm going to give a feedback. What is the benefit for the person receiving this feedback? And by the way, managers very rarely ask for feedback. They are afraid.
Yes.
And being afraid is one of the emotions. When you are afraid, you don't ask anything. It's like, okay, I'm the best. Maybe, but what is the best in you? And what shall you change for the people to feel better? To feel
there's
empowered.
Always something better that we can do.
That's it. And it's also thinking about feedback and giving feedback. This is like mentioning the emotional intelligence competences like self-awareness, awareness of others, authenticity, self-management. There is one competence that is called emotional reasoning. Like in our regions here, emotional reasoning, taking into consideration emotions while making decisions. In our region here, it's like...
That's like a sin to do.
No, you just don't be emotional when you make decisions.
And people say, you leave your emotions in front of the door when coming to work, right?
I can't leave them outside. I take them inside, but I need to know what emotions are inside. Exactly. And emotional reasoning is perfect to train also. While mentioning emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is making ethical decisions. Complicated.
How often do we talk about ethics?
Ethics at work? This is it. Is this decision ethical? How good it is for the people working at the workplace? How ethical it is for the consumers, for the buyers, for our customers? How ethical it is for our stakeholders? Who asks this question to him or herself? This is really, is this ethical? What do we do with this decision? Just one example, emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning also says, for example, consult others in decision making. Like I'm a manager, I'm making the decision. Why shall I consult the others? Because they know their scope of work. They can give you feedback or they can give you input for their part of the job, or they can give you information or an idea what is good for their work environment, for their productivity.
This is incredible. So we're talking about emotional intelligence, but actually we all of these examples are about how to do our work better.
Exactly.
It's really interesting to see this in practice because when people usually talk about emotional intelligence, they talk about something that it's disconnected from the actual work that we do.
And something intangible, something in the air. It is not in the air. It is simple behavior. It is behavior. So you can train it. You can really train it. And by the way, to train emotional intelligence, first of all, you need to make scanning. Like when you go to a doctor, first of all, they tell you to make a blood analysis first, then blood pressure, then...
Set the diagnosis, then know what to do with it.
Exactly. So to set the diagnosis, you can make we call them assessments, but it is not really only assessment. It is with Genos you can do self-assessment, but you can also receive a feedback from the others how important it is for them to see this behavior and how you show up at work, how you demonstrate this behavior, which is valuable information. And this is like a beginning to start from somewhere. And by the way, you don't start with 42, sorry. You start with one behavior, you train one behavior, then you take another behavior, then you train that behavior. Step by step, otherwise.
So it is a long process.
It is
just to make sure that it is not something that is a quick fix, because people nowadays, they don't have time for long periods, but unfortunately it's...
By the way,
it's something that we need to do if we want to be better.
We are here with the FitKit team or background. Same with sports. You decide to go to make muscles a little bit. So you get the muscles in one training. You never get muscles in one training. You need to do it consistently, permanently, believe why it's good for you, because otherwise you will not do it. You just quit. I had enough. 3 sessions, enough. 3 sessions of mental health, enough. If it's enough, it's enough, but 3 sessions, 3 times something? I don't eat bread 3 days. And then I will be healthier the 4th day. If I don't need to eat bread,
with a burger.
Exactly. With a nice double bread and double cheese and everything. Nice burger. Well, of course, from time I eat meat, by the way, just not to misunderstand me, and I eat bread. I like bread. But of course, there are periods I say, okay, I'm fed up from this. I will make a break a little bit and continue with something more healthy, like salads, like fruits, like, that's it. But so then I don't do it one day, and then I said, now I'm healthy from tomorrow.
It's a continuous awareness.
Continuous process, same emotional intelligence, it's continuous process. You need to build behavior by behavior as a skill set. And then finally, you are good as a teammate, you are perfect as a leader, you are a perfect manager. And you know what? When people are feeling well at work and they're happy at work, they just give. I mean,
and they stay.
They stay. And
they don't change company every few months.
Oh, no, never. And they think, before they think of a higher salary, they think first, will I have this environment? Because environment is one of the well-being conditions. Environment, I'm talking about not only the stable or, this water.
The company culture as an environment people get to go to work.
So we have like physical, mental, social, and environment, all these things like really pillars for well-being. And then if I have a great environment and great social life with people in my company, why shall I leave? And I like my job, and I have good relations with my boss and with my teammates. Why shall I leave? This is so good that when I go home, I'm happy at home as well. Then you bring that at home with the children, with the spouses.
It's like a paid forward something.
Oh yeah, investment. Yes, investment
in work is investment in the everyday life.
Everyday life.
So this is actually a good case for making company decision makers want to invest in emotional intelligence. People will want to stay, will feel good. And we know that the main problem with the companies these days is the rotation of workforce and the scarcity of workforce. Or it doesn't even have to be that there aren't any people, just it's much harder to get employees. And to get them to be motivated to stay. So So this is one case. Why should company invest in emotional intelligence? What others arguments are there?
I'm thinking it's not only getting employee retention. It is not only the retention. It is retention after investing good period of time of training people on the job because of the educational system and changes that are so fast that you can't teach the new technologies overnight. That is the first thing. And the second thing is productivity measured with numbers, increased productivity measured in numbers, like what do I produce during the day, and not only productivity, then it affects the profit. Because companies are calling us for intervention or to support them, to help them, because they see that they have a higher turnover, more income, more money flow in the company, but the profit sinks. Mm-hmm. That means that you achieve the higher income with more employees, with more man hours. And then you think, how comes?
That hurts
what
productivity.
What is behind? And then when we make assessment, we see that the behind is really how people feel at work, and that's why they don't give enough. Mm. I mean, we have a perfect saying in Macedonia: you cannot pay me so small as I can work so less. It's like there is no money that you can decrease my salary as I can decrease my working input. It is like, so the increase of productivity, increase of profitability of the companies, healthy environments also bring new creative ideas of what to do next with the business, how to improve the processes inside. Improved processes are making people feel more comfortable. They know what is going on, how to do things, where to put things. And one more thing, emotional intelligence in sales with the high-performing sales personnel. It's wow. It is not... I mean, I've heard a lot about assertive sales or whatever selling is. It is understanding yourself when you do the sales, understanding the needs of the person that you sell something to. By the way, if you are working on satisfying the needs of the customer, that is the sales. And then you have a customer that is long-term customer. We have seen, and Janos made a lot of researches on increase of sales when working with the sales personnel with emotional intelligence questionnaire. Because customers can also give feedback to the sales personnel.
So this is very important. Just to make a note, in Macedonia, mm-hmm. Companies and people who are employed in sales, doing sales, are 1/3 of the whole working population. Mm-hmm. So this is very important, actually.
It is.
And you're saying that people with higher emotional intelligence are better salespeople.
I will say with the right emotional intelligence set skill. Mm. They are far more productive, or they have higher sales than the others. And it is like changing is like in 1 year. It is not you don't wait a whole life till they get better. It is 1 year program. First they get a feedback with the questionnaire, and then they work on the behaviors they need to change, and then training and coaching, and then after 1 year, the sales is completely different.
Well, this can be a completely separate topic. It's very important, and there is a lot of stigma around sales. People don't usually want to do it, and they think it's sales people are con artists. I want to just to sell so that. If I want to sell you something, I need to trick you.
Yeah.
So that's the...
Which is completely wrong. It's talking about ethics.
Yeah.
It's completely wrong. It's ethical to sell something to a person that needs that product. But how do you know the need? If you are not aware, if you are not present, because being present is showing self-awareness. If I'm not self-aware, I'm not present, I'm not with the customer, I'm not with the client, I'm only physically here. Physically is not enough, because our brain takes the vibrations and it works, and I know that the person is not with me. I know that the person wants to sell me something. We don't want to... By the way, we as a customers, we want to buy, but we don't want to be sold something. We want to buy. So it's a very, very interesting topic. We can discuss this in a separate
Yeah, well, 1/3 of the working population should have benefit from it. So it's a very good consideration.
And feeling well with the work position, because people sometimes say, I have nothing else to do, I have to be a salesperson. I have to be. It's enough. I mean, this sentence is enough to understand how the person feels at work.
Yes.
So
and sadly, that's the
no
case for a
productivity.
lot of people.
1/3, it's really, really big amount.
Okay, so it's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And it's not easy work, but can you tell us about some examples that you've seen over the years about how things change when companies, organizations do changes around emotional intelligence and invest, and maybe some other examples where they don't, and what happens?
Oh, I have seen where they don't invest. Where there are managers, they say, "Oh, we don't need this." We also offer.
Why usually they think they don't need it?
That's very interesting because they want to see what everyone already knows. I mean, because if you receive a feedback, people will tell you what they see with you. If they don't give me a feedback, I kind of pretend that everything is fine. So I'm in a comfort zone. Till when is the question, and how do you feel in your comfort zone is another question. And then conflicts occur at the workplace, and then you have to fix the conflicts. As a manager, it's healthier to understand what people already know about.
And what are the issues?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what to work on so to improve the situations. Mainly, they fear of what they are going to see. And by the way, it's there. I mean, you can't hide it. It's there.
It's there. We just don't acknowledge it.
The acknowledgement is.
Why are we so afraid of
fear.
hearing something that's not working? It's like we take it personal. It's like a personal attack.
That's because exactly that is the emotional intelligence. How am I going to be better person tomorrow if I have no idea what makes me this person today? It's really impossible. And what is the fear to face that you are this person? Personally, I don't get the point. I don't understand it. But a lot of people are really scared, afraid from seeing what already exists. And this is when they say, we even talk about having emotional culture index at work so that they get information from the employees, how good they feel at work. Are they under stress? How anxious they are? Do they feel respected, or do they feel stressed? Do they feel not asked? So these are the simple things that you can figure out, and then start from there, and work on the culture. No, we don't need it. Okay, if you think you don't need it, we don't bother. There will be a time when they come back, because usually when conflicts are coming and people are leaving the organization, they come back and they say, "You mentioned sometimes." It can be too late.
It's a pity, really, that company wastes so much energy and time and resources until they
hit the wall.
Yeah.
Wall. Now.
And it's preventable.
Exactly. It's preventable. And by the way, it's really good for everyone in the organization. But you asked about the companies that are using this methodology or doing something with emotional intelligence. The change is visible first with people that kind of do not discuss anymore. Imagine you work with someone and you're only in a professional relation with someone. What is professional relation? I have no emotions with you anymore. I'm just.
Or I just pretend that there isn't conflict.
We just sit and work together, and this is really not healthy. And people start, after having this survey, they start talking about this because they can. The process is that you say thank you to the people that gave you feedback, and then you announce what you are going to work, what you would like to work on, and ask for wanted behaviors. You just need examples of what people exactly expect from you to do regarding this behavior, specific behavior. So we see that people start discussing, start talking, giving feedback, receiving feedback. How do they
take it?
Talking. Imagine they were not talking to each other. Now they start talking. And they say that it doesn't hurt, imagine. Because usually it hurts talking to a person that you are only professionally with. And then it is like starting to discuss this, so they feel relieved from the barrier they've built before. That is the first thing we have seen. The second thing is like, we've seen the cases like a person sees the report and says,
this is not right.
This cannot be true. By the way, this manager knows me only for 3 weeks. This cannot be true. Look at my employees, how they see me. And I say, okay, what can you learn from this? Even the manager doesn't know you exactly so good as the other employees. This is the behavior. She is looking, observing with you. So this is how we show up. And you can also improve if you start discussing and working on it. After the break, comes back and says, you're right. I would like to do something with this because somehow I feel that we don't have very good relation. And it bothers me. So where are you going to start? Let's see which behavior you are going to practice. This is one example. Another example is a manager with a nice small team of 7 people says, they're not sincere with me. The employees are really, they lie, they go around, they talk about me around the corner. It's like, do the assessment, see what they are talking about, because there is a qualitative feedback they can give you. See what it is about, and then we can continue discussing. With the coaching sessions, the manager was coming back with the same question. And it was like, awareness of others. It was like, just let me find it. Accurately view situations from the perspective of others. He says, I see it from the perspective of others. This was the situation, and again, from the perspective of others. And what they say, they have another story. So, from the perspective of others. You want to say they're right? I say, yeah, they're right for themselves because the emotions are mine. Yeah. You cannot change them. This is how I feel.
That's something incredible that we don't acknowledge on the where we live here in this area. We think that we cannot be right at the same time as somebody else. It's either mine or yours, right?
Good, Ala. Thank you for this. This is perfect. Exactly. This is either me or you. I mean, it is not true. Mine perspective is mine. Yours is yours. If I don't listen to your perspective, I would never understand it. So this was incredible. This was just a jump, and the manager says, "Whoa, we were discussing these 3 sessions in a row, and I couldn't exactly understand what you were asking me." I said, "Now, how do you understand it?" He said, "I'm going to change the strategy." Good. What are you going to do? This is behavior. What are you going to do? He said, "When I listen, I will listen for what they say as they say. I will not make my construction."
Oh, that's the basics of active listening. And that's something that we lack so much.
It's perfect. And you know what? Now we reduce the time between sessions. A coaching session can be once a week, can be once a month, can be once in 3 weeks or 3 months.
That behavior becomes more sustainable.
Exactly.
So, and how can companies actually sustain that kind of behavior without external help? I think that's the thing that most of them are afraid. They implement something, and it's a valid it's a valid point for companies. I invest, and I want after I finish for it to have an effect. How can they be helped or help themselves?
This is good. There are things they can do. First of all, they can always train a person inside the company to work with the methodology and talk to people regularly, professionally.
So just to make clear, we need continuous support.
Of course.
It won't work
if
we don't have continuous support.
Same as habits at home. If I have a habit at home and my husband says, it doesn't really suit me, I don't feel well with this habit of yours, and I say, okay, I will change it, and I change it today and I don't change it tomorrow, and again he reminds me, and tomorrow again, and again. If he reminds me permanently, I'm really changing the behavior. And I need to know why I change the behavior. This is also to understand why is this good, as we discussed, if it's good for the productivity, if it's good for my health. People usually from conflicts get out being completely unhealthy physically. So if I know I will be healthy, if I know I will be more productive, I will get higher salary, more productivity, more money flow in the company, they share with the employees. Anyhow, there are a lot of benefits. If I understand my benefit of this, and someone needs to, really work with me, support me, then it has a lot of effects. And by the way, what we have also seen is when the managers are supporting the staff in changing the behaviors, giving regular feedback, reminding them, then it goes smoothly up. That's why we say we should start from the managers, not from the others. First managers, and then they work with their teams, and then it goes slowly through the whole organization. And that is how you build really healthy organization. When we say healthy, it's really healthy organization. Otherwise, crisis here, crisis there, crisis over there, it's difficult to cure it.
Yeah, it's like with health, physical health. If we have a disease and we give a pill, we're not dealing with the disease. We're just blocking the symptoms.
Exactly. yeah. As with the ones for feeling calmer at work. Yeah, today I feel good, and then when I go home I don't feel good. Then I feel sick. Then I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Again pill. What? And then till when?
That's also a very big topic that
till when
can be discussed about separately. How we block our emotions. I'm very upset.
Take it as a topic. It will be great. It will be great. We had a client. We had group coaching sessions, and asking at the end of the group coaching sessions, like it takes 6 sessions within 4 months, something like that, and then asking what is your best benefit from the sessions, and he said, you know what, my best benefit is that I stopped taking this pills for whatever, psycho, whatever.
Oh,
and I said, "Is this
serious?
Is this candid camera? Seriously?" And he goes, "Seriously? I was taking them every morning." I said, "Oh, yeah, because I was so stressed at work, I couldn't stand it anymore. So I said, okay, I cannot allow myself losing the job." Having a kid at home and wife that is not working, he was really in a situation. Difficult situation. He said, but after these sessions, now I understand the others. I understand better what is going on. I understand myself. I understand what I cause with the others. And it's like a circular, I cause something with you, then you answer me with your bullets, and then
I feel upset.
And then it goes never-ending story. Like if we understand each other better. So this was like, I said, seriously? He said, seriously. And the colleagues were, we didn't know it. Yeah, I'm going around to tell you what I drink in the morning. Of course not. So take as a topic. It's very, very relevant.
Such a serious topic, and it's such a great argument for bringing emotional intelligence in the workspace as a serious and continuous topic. To conclude, we need it personally. We need it for the benefit of the company. Finally, so as a case for CEOs, we need it for profit.
For profit, exactly, yes.
So it's not going around it.
No. Better start tomorrow, because usually people do not start from today. Better start tomorrow than wait another 2-3 years. I've seen also companies that lost their business. I mean, managers or owners that lost their business waiting so long. Better not waiting so long.
In the case where people are the most serious asset that we need to be working on, this is very, very important.
Something to start from tomorrow, really.
Well, hopefully this will help a little.
Thank you, Anna, for bringing this topic on this table.
Thank you for coming here. It was really a pleasure.
Mine as well.
And
I enjoyed it.
And we'll see you in another occasion.
Okay, great.
With new stories.
Yeah, great. It will be my pleasure, yeah.
Thank you, Biljana. Bye.
Bye.